I came across this image, this style, and I so much love the style. And I was just thinking, how do they achieve this? I did a lot of brainstorming before I could come up with how it was achieved. Stay with me as I teach how to achieve this beautiful bubu. I'll be using this paper for illustration. So let's assume this is a fabric and this is the full length. The length you want for the length of your dress, and this is the width. So the first thing is to fold it into two like this, so that you can have the center back. The folded part is the center back. After folding, that's the center back. After folding, you fold the right to meet at the center like this, and you fold the left to meet at that center also. This new fold is the front of the dress. The dress does not have joining by the side and it does not have joining at the back. So this is front left, front right, and the other side is the back. The crease line is the center back. Now what will determine this fold is your shoulder divided by 2 plus your sleeve length, whatever you want your sleeve to be, and the opening of your arm, where your arm will come out from. So if your back is 16, you divide it by 2, that is 8, plus whatever you want your sleeve to be, you add it, then you add the opening of your hand. I hope that makes sense. So if you are folding your fabric, this is how to fold it. You fold it like this and you fold again. You see? Now the fold is the center back, while the front is a little bit longer than the back, and the reason is for seam. That is your seam allowance. That is where you are going to do the joining. That's where you are going to do the joining. So this is how we are going to fold our fabric. And depending on your back or your sleeve length, you might need 3 or 3.5 inches for this style. So I'm trying to show you, that's the neck. You mark your neck depth for the back and your neck width, and you curve. Then the front will be a V, definitely. So but it will maintain the same width for the neck width for back and front is the same. Let me just cut that. I'm cutting out the back neckline. That's the back neckline. Then I will measure I'm still maintaining that same width, but a deeper neck. So the neck depth for the front is deep and it's more like a V. If you can't see what I'm doing properly, don't worry. I'll still show you how to do it on the fabric so you get it. Now that is the neckline for the front. So I already cut the neckline for the front. I already cut the neckline for the back. Now before cutting the neckline, sorry, I was supposed to cut the shoulder slant. I didn't cut it, but I will do the correction on the fabric actually. But this is my shoulder slant. So you just do whatever it is as your shoulder slant, and that slant, that place I'm cutting actually has the sleeve length and the place that your, what will I call it, cuff now, the place that your arm will come out from. So this is basically the introduction. Now let's go to the fabric so that I can explain better. This is the fabric I'll be using. This fabric is 3 yards and 12 inches. 3 yards and 12 inches. Like I said is either you use three between 3 yards to 3.5 inches is what you will need for this time. So after cutting out the 3 yards and 12 inches, I will fold into 4. Okay, this is the fold I have. Where I'm touching is the center back, and you see the front with the seam allowance. I left ½ inch for seam allowance. This is my first time of actually sewing this style, so there are some mistakes that I will correct as I'm explaining. I added ½ inch as the seam allowance, but next time if I'm sewing, I think 1 inch will be better. So what I marked just now is 3 inches, which is the neck. Then from this part, which is the side, now I will come down by 1.5 inches, and I will draw my shoulder slant. So that's the first thing, my shoulder slant. So from this 1.5 that I came down here at this point, I will draw a slant line to touch the 3 inches that I measured. And I'll cut it off. After cutting the shoulder slants, I'll put my neck width, and I'll be using 3.75 as my neck width. It depends on what you want to use. Just know that this dress does not have a zipper, so the head should be wide enough for the neck, should be wide enough for your head to pass through. So I use 3.75 inch width and 1 inch depth for the back, and for the front I use 3.75 inches width and 7 inches depth. And you know the front is V neck, is V shaped. So just cutting out the neckline that is for the back. I'll open it up and draw the V for the front and cut it out also. After cutting the neckline, if you like, you can tape your neckline, but for me I want to use facing, so I will cut the facing out and I will sew it. I will take it to the machine and turn the neckline. I will come back to show you what I have. Now at this point I am done turning the neck with the facing. This is what I have. That is the front. That's the front. So the next thing I'll do is to mark from my shoulder to my half length. I'll use 16 for my half length. Maybe if I'm sewing another time, I might decide to subtract 1 from my half length, meaning if your half length is 16, you can minus 1, that will be then 15. You mark 15. If your half length is like 17, you use 16. So that is my half length. The next thing is to join from that neckline, from that V at that neckline to my half length using my half-inch seam allowance. Next time I will use 1-inch seam allowance and I will explain why. So this is what I have already joined it. Trying to open it so that I can show you. You see the V neckline now and the joining. See the V neckline? That is the back. So the next thing is to use to sew the shoulder. Whatever is your sleeve, that is what you are going to use. For me, I use 15, both for the from the end of my neckline to where I will stop. I used 15. You can reduce yours to maybe 12, meaning if you reduce it to 12, meaning your arm will come out at maybe before your elbow. So I use 15. I sew the 15 inches and I left 8 inches for my arm to come out. I left 8 inches. You see this? That's the joining. 15 inches. Then I left 8 inches for my arm to come out from. The next thing is to turn that part where my arm is coming from, is to hem it. So I'm done doing that. I already turned it, and this is what I have. So I'm just trying to show you. This is the neck. This is the center joining from front center, for that from the neck to the half length. Now this is the remaining part that I did not join. That is the where I had my seam allowance, right? Now this is the hem, the lower part of this dress. That is the down part. If you understand, that is the lower part of the dress. That is where we are going to work on now. And what are we going to do? We have to sew it. You sew it from the center front. That's the center front, the lower part, the down part, the hem. I will sew it from that part to like 21, I think. Later I said no, let me increase it to 30. So I joined it till 30. When I got after joining, I realized that the remaining part was too slim for my leg. It was too slim, so I now said, okay, let me reduce it. Let me reduce the sewing. So I ended up sewing with 23 inches. So I ended up sewing 23 inches. Just watch. The first sewing, you will see it. You see me when I was losing it. The first sewing I did was 30 inches. I now realized it was too tight for me. So I now reduced it to 23 inches. Where am I sewing? I'm sewing the lower part, the down part of the dress. You join it. That part I'm holding, it is center back. That is my center back, the lower part. And this is the joining I did. I sew it from the center front to 30 inches. I realized it was it was too much, so I had to lose it, and I ended up stopping at 23 inches. Let me show you what I have again so that you won't be confused. It's kind of confusing, but it's not, it's easy. Okay, this is our neckline. That's our neckline. That is the center joining from the to the waistline. So from the waistline, I didn't sew it until I get to the lower part of the dress. You see, from my waistline center front, I didn't sew until I get to the hem. It was the hem I now joined. Now this is the part that I will fold in. That was why I said I should have used 1 inch seam allowance. If your material is fraying, overlock it first, then you now sew it. You join, you form a channel, let me put it that way, because elastic will pass through this channel. So you fold it. If you cannot overlock, you can fold it twice, but make sure it is wide enough for elastic to pass through it. So I'll take it to my sewing machine and I will make that channel. I'll come back to show you what I have. At this point, I'm done sewing, and this is the channel. So from the point, from that waistline where I stopped sewing, that is where I'll put this elastic, and I'll pass it through the channel round until I come out at the other side too. And this is it. And this is it. You see the neckline? You see the center joining that I made that stopped at the waistline. Now this part I'm showing you now, that is the hem line that I joined. And you see where my leg will come out from. You see where my leg will come out from? You see? And this is it. So the next thing is to just don't make the hole too tight. If you want it tight, fine. If you want it big, you just adjust it and you tie the elastic. I don't know if maybe using elastic is the right thing, if elastic is what I should use, or just a rope. You can use a rope and even leave the rope outside for the person to adjust. I think that's another concept. And using this elastic, it's stretchy, so I don't know if using a rope would be better. So this is me trying to tie the elastic. If it is a rope, you can tie it as well like this and just cut it and make it neat. But I decided to use an elastic. Maybe when next I'm sewing, I might use a rope. I might even make the rope come out, something like that. Just use a fancy rope. So once I'm sure I'm okay with the rope or the opening, the next thing is to work on how to cover it like we have it in the image we are trying to mirror. So I don't know which material to use or what color of material to use. I have a velvet and I have a duchess. So let me just show you. I don't know which one to use. I've not decided, but let me show you. I have this blue and I have this gold. So which one do you think I should use? So before we cover that hole, the next thing is to turn the lower part. So I will just aim that. Then I decided to use the gold. I decided to use the gold to cover this hole. So I picked something that is circular and that is a little bit bigger than the hole so that I can use it as my model. So what I did was to place it on this duchess fabric and cut two of it, two circle. Then I will sew it around and fill it. You can fill it with either a foam, pieces of clothes, or a fiber, anything to just to fill it up. So I used fiber for it, and after filling it, I attached it to the bubu, to the dress, and it came out well. But I need your review. Did I nail this tie? Did I get it? If I to you if I got the style or I tried a little, I want you to drop it in the comment section. Let me know if I did a good job. And if I did not do a good job, just give me your review. I need a review on this particular work. So this is after sewing it around. I need to turn it inside out, and after turning it inside out, I will put the fiber and I'll fix it on the dress. And you can now put stone, you can put rhinestones, you can put cup chain, you can do anything with it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you have learned something new. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe, because on this channel I bring sewing tutorials. If sewing tutorial is some kind of a content that you would like, please subscribe, like, share and drop your comments. I'm trying to test it, and this is how it looks like. It kind of looks a bit different from what I'm trying to achieve. I wouldn't know, maybe it's because the fiber is too much, or maybe add interfacing would have just done the magic, but it's still okay. It's still okay. I think it's okay. Maybe when I'm sewing this tie another time, I will look for another option, something else to fill in that fabric. Actually, you can't leave that circle like that. You can't just sew fabric without filling it or adding an interfacing, it will collapse because of the weight of that gather at that point. So that was the reason I came up with this idea. So after attaching it, you can add stones, rhinestones, whatever you want, beads, to design that part, whatever you feel like adding to it, it's fine. So this is it for today in this tutorial. I hope you have learned something new.